Okay, so I'm kind of a big dummy when it comes to recording YouTube videos. Obviously, I'm not a professional. I think we've all figured that out so far. But I was working on planting the strawberries, and I didn't realize it when my camera timed out that it would stop recording, and I wouldn't be able to add back onto the video. So we'll just call this strawberry video part 2. I filled the patch up as much as I could, but I still have a few extra strawberries over. Well, let me rephrase that. I put a bunch of strawberry plants into the patch. I could fit some more in there, but I still have a bunch left over. And one thing that I do like to do on my property is I don't ever like to have it to where all of my eggs are in one basket. So I have all the little holes are where I have planted new roots, and then you can see in the bucket I still have quite a few left over. It's not a bunch, but it's probably like 8, maybe 10. I don't know. I didn't count them. But say like disease came through, or they were just struggling in here because it's too shaded. I don't know. There's any number of things that can go wrong with plants. Sometimes they just decide they don't want to be here anymore and they just run out on you. Maybe Tundra over there, my dog, just decides this is his new favorite place to dig and he digs them all up or pees on them all. Who knows? But one of the things I like to do is I like to separate things to where if everything dies in one spot, maybe I've got a couple of them over in a different spot so that I can recover some of my losses. Or if I have things that I had to work really hard to get a hold of, like it's some rarer variety of something that I could get cuttings off of, I like to gift them to friends so that if something happened to all of mine and all of mine died, then I could recover them by getting cuttings back from a friend and kind of like, hey, remember how I gave you, a bunch of elderberry cuttings? Well, my elderberry died and I would really love if you could, gift me a cutting off of one of the plants I gave you. So I like to keep things out and about, and then some things it's just nice to have genetic diversity out there too. Like I'm trying to grow kale grex, so I gifted some kale grex seeds to friends so that maybe down the road we could trade seeds. So anyway, I'm gonna come and pick up my seeds, and we'll go to a spot where I've planted some wild strawberry seeds, and we'll just mix this in with the wild strawberry seeds, which is probably a terrible idea to mix wild strawberries with these strawberries, but it's a good place for the bed, so that's what we're gonna do. Over here is a patch that already has straw in it, and it is where my mushrooms grow. I have Italian oyster mushrooms that were growing over here, and then over here I have some little wild strawberries that grow underneath the garlic. So I thought that since there was straw over here, and since there were already some strawberries that were doing pretty okay over here, maybe along the edge of this bed, without disturbing the mushrooms too much, I could plant the remaining strawberries over here. This is another area that sadly is kind of shaded in the afternoon and doesn't get full sun during the daytime. But I think it'll be okay, and that they'll do all right. And if they don't do all right, well, oh well, these are extras anyway. So we'll get these planted. The principle's kind of the same over here. We just want to dig a hole, put the plant in, bury the plant, but don't submerge it completely so that it doesn't get completely soaked in the rain. Also over here in the straw, we have to be careful because we're close to the wood line. So we do get ticks over here. I know when I harvested my mushrooms, I found some ticks on the mushrooms. So when we're done with this, we'll want to make sure that we look ourselves over really good for ticks. We get Lyme disease out here. I've personally gotten Lyme disease from ticks in the backyard, which it's one of the reasons why I've been spreading the mulch out to keep from getting the ticks. But anyway, with this being my mushroom patch, I want to make sure that I don't disturb them as much as possible. So I'm probably going to stick to the edge right here for now, and then let the strawberries spread out on their own. I've got a rock border right here that you can't really see, and then a log over here, so maybe they won't run out too far on their own, but even if they do, this is just a walking area. So like I said, I'm going to stick to the edges. I don't want to disturb my mushrooms too much, but this is a nice, really fertile area. It's got lots of broken down stuff. That's my compost pile where the pallet is, so it's a really fertile area. I'm just going to dig some quick holes and get the strawberries in the ground. It drains really well over here, so I don't super need to worry about mounding or anything like that. I've got tons of earthworms over here from the compost. dirt over here isn't as clay, it's more like sandy loam, so this is a really good spot for them anyway. I planted the really, really big ones over there, so these are the really small ones mostly, so I'm not really trying to aim for planting perfection. Just in the ground is the goal here. Well, I got some big ones. If I were a good planter, I would spread these roots out and dig huge holes and splay them all over the place, but I'm really not. I'm just going to cram them in there. If anybody wants to see, I can show you what my mushroom mycelium looks like. Turn it right there. I'll pull this back. We really shouldn't be disturbing this too much. Let's see if I can get the camera to focus. Now you see all this white, thready looking stuff in there. That's the mushroom kind of growing in the straw. I have to water this dang near every day because it dries out so fast. At any time it gets cool, then I get a flush of mushrooms out of here. It's 70 degrees when it's been 90 degrees, so I might actually get another flush out of these soon. If I do, I'll shoot a video and show you guys. The last time we got a bunch of rain, this whole bed was just like full of mushrooms, and I got a ton of flush, but unfortunately it was also raining, so they were really soggy and it wasn't that great. But they did taste absolutely delicious, even though they were soggy, so I will take it. The mushroom spores were really easy to plant too. I got them from North Spore. I think there's another company that a lot of people use that I've heard good things about. North Spore just happened to be having a sale. I normally don't like to pay full price for things, and it was like one of their big sales where everything was like 30% off for, I think I used grain spawn for this one. I meant to order sawdust spawn, but I accidentally ordered grain spawn. I don't know how that happened, but I just did a layer of straw, and then I did a layer of the grain spawn, and then I put more straw on there, and then I come out and I water them almost every single day, especially on hot days. The soils and the straw is actually pretty damp today, but you know, after thinking about the fact that I water this every day, maybe this isn't the best area for my strawberries since they don't like being soaking wet, but it's too late now. And I am only putting the strawberries on the edge. Maybe I'll move the log and let them run to the ground, but anyway, and it took maybe a month and a half, 2 months before I got mushrooms out of it, and you can see there's still tons of mycelium up out of there, so I should get multiple flushes out of them. So that'll be good. The wine caps, I put the spawn in the ground. That was sawdust spawn. I put that in the ground maybe a week and a half ago, and it's been hotter than blazes, so I won't see any spawn out of that for a while. But it has been raining a bunch, so I don't have to worry about watering them. That, and they're in wood chips, and wood chips stay wet all the time. This needs to be watered a bunch because the straw dries out really fast, especially the bigger pieces. The straw dries out really fast. It even smells like mushroom over here. You can kind of smell it. That's how I knew that they fruited too, was because I was watering the wine caps and I could smell mushrooms. That's how I knew to come over here and look for mushrooms, is because I could smell them. So I'll be excited for the next patch that comes up. I sauteed them in a skillet with butter and some herb salt that I had made from my garden that was absolutely delicious. What is this guy? Oh, look, an acorn. I don't even have acorn trees around here. I don't know where this came from. That's cool. Let's see. I think that's all I'll do for the edge over there. Let's go this way some. Ow, rocks on my knees. And I absolutely hate crawling around in the garden, which is why I'm pretty lazy when I plant everything. And why didn't I do raised beds, do you say? So that I don't have to crawl over the ground? And the simple answer to that is I'm poor. And I don't want to pay for dirt. Dirt is expensive. Mulch is free. And the ground is free. And that is the simple answer. And apparently, I didn't factor in that ibuprofen and muscle relaxers cost money. I probably should have thought about that. But, back to Eden gardening. I haven't seen that in a raised bed. And I haven't seen roof style gardening in a raised bed. All of that's on the ground. And I mistakenly thought that my teenagers would love me enough to do all the crawling around on the ground for me. But here I am, crawling around on the ground. Well, my 4-year-old plays video games. And my teenagers are at work, so it's just me. It's okay. Eventually I'll be too old to do this and they'll have to come out and do it for me. Or we'll starve. Because if I can't work, then we can't buy groceries, so. I was kind of hoping that I wouldn't have so many, that I would mix my wild strawberries and my, I don't know whether these are domesticated strawberries up together. Ones I have are there, it's like Russian Alpine and Holly City strawberries. I have no idea what kind of berries I'm going to get out of them, or how big they're going to be, or if they're going to be any better than the random strawberries I found in the yard that taste like air, but they're supposed to be really good. And they're supposed to be kind of prolific for the little guys. And they've been over there for quite a while, and I haven't seen a single strawberry off of any of them, so we shall see. Those seeds for the wild strawberries I got off a webpage called Experimental Farm Network, and I really like that page because that page has all kinds of cool stuff on it that I have no business buying, that I buy anywhere or anyway because I convince myself that I am this miraculous farmer that can grow anything. I will say that most of the seeds I buy from that site sprout. I just can't keep them alive. Like I bought something called anchovy on that site, and they sprouted. They sprouted really, really good. But then they all died. And that's my fault because I started them way, way too soon. I don't know what possessed me to start those in February when they like hot weather. As those would have been really cool to have. But I started them too early and they died. Oh look, a snail. Hello, Mr. Snail. Let's put you back over here. Nope, more mycelium. Oh, come on. Let's see, that's creepy Charlie. Let's get rid of that. I don't want you in there on my strawberries. Well, you must be getting tired of looking at me from that angle. Let's get rid of that. That's my garlic. I want to say this is some kind of like German something or another garlic. And then over here, this is my walking onion. The little bulbs coming off of it. They're not big enough to spread, but I wish they'd hurry up because I really wanted this to take off. I need these to take off. I want tons of walking onions because they sound really cool. I have to come over here and water this. This dirt seems kind of dry. Let's see. Again, I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm just creating a hole in the ground and shoving a strawberry in it and hoping it grows. I have 3 more left. Oh, I'm so tired of planting strawberries. And I have a whole tray of things to plant still. I have no idea why I do this to myself. I like gardening. I hate planting. If anybody wants to come to my house and just plant stuff so that I can reap all the benefits of you planting stuff, that would be super cool. We could be best friends. You could crawl around on the ground and dig holes, And then I could eat all the stuff and get credit for it. Two more strawberries, I think. There's some random little head pieces of roots in there that I'm not really sure what they are. I will say, out of all the garlic I planted 3 different varieties last year. This kind, it's supposed to be kind of spicy, but it's very gangly and skinny and sad looking. I think I'll plant next year I'll be planting just music. Like a bunch of them fell down, the scapes are sad and disappointing. I don't want to grow this kind again. Maybe it'll taste amazing, I don't know. Actually, now that I think about it, I've heard perennial garlic is a thing, where you just leave, oh, this one looks kind of sad, maybe I'll pull it up. You leave garlic in the ground. Yeah, look at how sad he is. I pulled him up because he was all brown. You leave garlic in the ground all winter, you don't harvest it, and apparently in the cold, your little garlic bulb will break apart into little baby garlic bulbs, and then it'll come back in separate plants at the end of the year, or in the summertime. So where there was one garlic, you'll have like, I don't know, 5 or 6 garlic babies pop up in the same plant, or in the same spot where this plant was, even though you never planted them. And it'll just keep coming back year after year after year. And then when you want to eat garlic, you just walk outside and you pick up a garlic out of the ground, and you take either the whole plant inside and eat what you want, or you take the couple of cloves off you need, and then you throw the couple of cloves that you aren't eating that are left back into the ground and bury them to where they'll grow up and do the same thing the next winter. So maybe I could do that with this, but the music garlic I have is humongous, and I think that if I'm gonna have a bunch of garlic growing on my property, I think I would rather be the music garlic, because this is just disappointing. I don't care how tasty and spicy and delicious this is. I like the music because it's big and it takes up space and it looks nice. But we will see. Maybe I'll leave a couple of bulbs of each variety. I've got the music and this German and some other kind, I forget what it is, in 3 different spaces in the yard. Maybe I'll leave all of them, like a couple of bulbs of each one, and see what they do over the winter. And then we'll decide which variety is best after I see what they do in the wintertime. This one smells really strong though, so maybe it is the best. Anyway, that's it for the strawberries today, so I'll come back with the next project. I got lots of mulch to move today, but you guys have seen tons of videos of people moving mulch, I'm sure, and you've already seen me moving mulch, and you know how I do it, so I don't see the need to do another mulch video unless somebody really wants me to do another mulch video. I'm just gonna mulch some pathways, and I'm probably gonna end up having to get another truckload of mulch for the front garden, which is mind-boggling because I've already gotten 3 loads of mulch, but they were like trailer loads, not chip drop truck loads. So I'll work on that today, and then maybe after I finish planting everything, then I'll just show you what I planted where, instead of like having you stare at me while I plant things, because this video is 20 minutes long and it's just me running my mouth in the garden. So alright, we'll talk to you guys later. Thanks, bye.